The race for Charleston City Mayor is proving to be a diverse landscape of 7 candidates so far, from its incumbent, John Tecklenburg, to my guest, Clay Middleton. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You do have quite an interesting background, military, under a very interesting, very important presidential administration. So I want you to go through some of your experience thus far that has brought you to this place today.
Sure. Well, Charleston is home for me. Born and raised in the city, a place called Bayside Manor, and my wife and I and our 2 boys live in West Ashley. So I've been in the South Carolina Army National Guard for 23 years, currently a lieutenant colonel serving as a battalion commander. Worked for Congressman Jim Clyburn for about 10 years. I still work for him, just off the payroll. And work
in what capacity, if I can ask?
So originally I started out as a caseworker for him here in Charleston, and then became his low country director here in the Charleston region, and also worked in the Obama administration, first at the White House Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships and Department of Energy and the National Nuclear Security Administration.
Can you tell me a little bit about some of the work you did with the Obama administration?
Yes, so at the Corporation for National and Community Service, which is your AmeriCorps and your VISTA, we actually worked with the Department of Education and the other 12 centers that existed at other federal agencies to close achievement gaps, to really provide resources to various communities throughout the country. And some of those activities I was able to bring to bear here in Charleston.
Okay, well, you're no stranger to politics.
No.
You're no stranger to running for office either. You did run for the State House.
Yes, ran for State House in 2008. But for me, public service is about truly serving people.
And why Charleston Mayor?
Well, this is the tip of the spear. Again, Charleston is home for me, and I believe there is a void in bold servant leadership in City Hall. And we have something to offer. You know, when I graduated Burke High School, before I went to the Citadel, most of my peers not only were ready to leave, but not willing to come back. I said, I don't see myself calling Charleston home.
And why? Lack of opportunity?
Lack of opportunity, just don't see that Charleston is a place that they could raise a family and thrive.
How many years ago was that?
So I graduated Burke in 1999 and graduated the Citadel in 2003.
A lot has changed though since then.
A lot has changed, yes, but I do not want my 2 little boys, who are 6 and 8, to grow up and not seeing Charleston as a place that they could afford to live.
Yeah.
That Charleston is a place that they do not see themselves being themselves and thriving. And I do not want that for any child in our community.
So do you feel that Charleston is failing in that capacity, that even though it's a wonderful destination for tourism and for retirees,
yes,
a lot of people come from other places and they bring their money to Charleston, how would you then improve those situations? How would you make that a life for your children?
I think for us it's a number of areas, like regardless of the topic. If it's education, making sure that there are no low performing schools in our community. There's things that we can do as mayor to make that a reality, whether it is lessening the gap that exists during the summer for summer learning loss, making sure our community centers are extensions of learning, but even tackling some of these systemic issues that we talk about every single election, of housing and flooding and transportation.
Yeah.
There are things that we can do more of. And from my vantage point, and again, I used to even work for the city of Charleston. So having been up close and personal, not only at the local level, but for me, for this campaign, this is about the future, and knowing that we have something to offer of substance to make a difference in the lives of everyone that calls Charleston home.
Can you expand on that? So
yes.
What office did you hold when you were representing the city of
So when
Charleston?
I worked for the city of Charleston, I was the director of business services. And at that time, so your small businesses and all of the neighborhood associations were in the office I led.
Okay.
Because
I know a lot of people, you talk about small businesses. Small
yes.
businesses account for 95% of our workforce. But when you're talking about businesses, say up and down King Street, well, no one can afford the rent there.
Yeah.
So how do you make it more affordable for people to be those small business owners as well and to
Sure.
see them thrive?
So we could have a better we can do a better job at engaging the small business community. There are a number of organizations in our community that do just that. We can certainly set up various business district zones throughout our city, so that is just for local small business owners. We can also provide access to capital as well as access to business. Capital is only part of it. You can have the money, but if you do not have access to the business, then you're not going to stay in business long. Some other things that we can certainly do for the small business community is to provide affordable workspace. Affordable commercial space go hand in hand when you think about affordable housing.
Yeah.
So these are some things that we could really do, and the resources are there. There are resources at the federal level that the city has not leveraged at all, and there's things that we can do, and there's things that we will certainly be talking about in this campaign.
Do you have any events coming up?
Yes, we are doing a number of conversations with Clay where I talk one-on-one with individuals at their home or small business, just to talk about and listen as it relates to.
That's very important.
That's very important.
Well, we're going to put that information up on our screen, so a calendar of events that are coming up for you. I want to thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your service.
I appreciate it.
We're back after this.